Supergirl, issue 28, Mark and Draco writing with Eduardo Pansica on the art. End of last issue, the clones that, what's his face made? Oh, I can't remember his name now.
Hokum.
Hokum, there you go.
Henry Hokum.
Hokum had made these like clones out of the fallen Omega Men with Supergirl's DNA, so they're kind of like Supergirl clones mixed with all these other people, but they're all evil and monstery, and they're fighting, and the Omega Men are fighting them. It's a whole thing, and they're fighting back, and they're trying not to hurt them because they might actually still be the people in there in some way.
Right.
But then eventually, when they win, all the bodies just kind of disintegrate. And she's like, I didn't mean to kill them. That wasn't meant to be enough to kill them. But basically, their DNA was flawed, and they were going to die anyway, no matter what. They were going to deteriorate and die very quickly.
Yeah, because Hokum, like, he didn't care. He just wanted them up now.
Yeah.
Like, and he was even warned. But I liked this issue a lot with the action. Like, I thought the art did a real good job at selling a lot of it.
I love the art.
Yeah, especially with Kara's dilemma because she's fighting versions of herself.
Yeah, and then the big money moment actually is she speaks to Starfire's brother, and she's like, I need a solar charge like really quickly, and he's like, okay, and there's this big full page of him kissing her, and she's all like surprised, and it's basically his thing is that's the quickest way to charge you as quickly as possible.
Which goes in line with Tamaranian lore because we know that Starfire can absorb languages through a kiss and whatnot. So I thought that was fun. It's just, do we think this is really Starfire's brother? Like, because I feel like he's Tamaranian, but I'm looking up for like any other instances, and it just feels like an odd place just to throw him in there. You know,
I have no reason to think that it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I guess. That sounds like you're second guessing yourself into a problem, man.
Well, no, I like the character being there.
Yeah.
But why does he have to be Starfire's brother and not just a?
Oh, sure. Okay, that's
you know
fair.
What I mean?
That's fair. Yeah. I mean,
for me to be clear, because I feel like we can always use more Tamaranians. They're a really cool alien race.
Yeah. So Supergirl's so pissed about the horror that that Hokum made these things just to die. And there's a great page where she's just looking up at his ship that's above their ship, and she's like, he's like, she's looking at me. How is that possible? And then she just like flies up to their ship, and like causes a hull breach, and everything, stuff's getting sucked out, pressure's going. It's a whole thing, and then something really violent happens, which is not Supergirl's fault. She's holding on to Hokum's hand as like the circle, because he mentions the circle, this mysterious Illuminati that was behind the destruction of Krypton, but they didn't actually approve of it. Because they've been saying that all along, that Rogol Zar was told not to do it and then went rogue. Yeah. But she's holding onto Hokum's arm, and then the circle seemed to teleport him away. But because she's holding onto his hand, like his hand just kind of like rips off the rest of his body, and she's left holding this hand that's dripping blood. And I thought, oh, that was actually like Evil Dead-esque. I'm kind of into this.
Yeah, I like that because she was gripping so hard.
Yeah.
And that he just teleported. It was almost like he got sucked through a wormhole. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, that was really good. And then they find all these specimens, and Kara goes on. It's basically that scene from Alien Resurrection where Ripley finds all the specimens of the clones.
Yeah.
And unleashes like hell on it. She does that with a super breath. It's the whole thing. So Hokum gets killed. The main icicle villain, the one that's been, what's his face?
The Crystal.
The Crystal, yeah. I think we find
Zinder.
Gandello is her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the mother, of course, of Zinder, yeah. So she actually jetsams into space. So he's out in there. He's out in space floating. He's dead. He's good as dead.
Which is funny because that's what he kept threatening people with. Yeah. Is, I'm going to jettison you into space, and then that ends up being his fate. Which I kind of like now that Supergirl helped the Omega Men here, that they got rid of their main, the person they've been fighting. So she's done some good out there.
Yeah, they have some of the dead specimens that were sort of more like, not just like little pieces in a jar, and they've got them in stasis in the hopes that they can maybe like try and help them in some way. So the Tamarian sort of comes out and tries to apologize for the kiss, and she's like, "That's okay. It was kind of nice, I guess." And he's like, "Do you want another charge?" And I actually thought the same thing she did. I was like, "Oh, he's trying to get another kiss. What's going on here?" And he's like, "No, give me your hands." So he just gives her like a sort of more, normal charge. So it's fully charged.
And this always, I like when the Kryptonians and the Tamaranians get together. Like, I always like the idea of Starfire looking up to Superman, you know, and that she's kind of low key part of the Superman family. And so here, I feel like this is another one of those instances.
And this is,
you know,
when Zinder and Crypto show up and kind of catch them holding hands, and it's this awkward moment. But yeah, because we see Zinder and Crypto for a second earlier on. There's like a page of them just kind of being like, okay, how do we find Kara? And Crypto's all annoyed and like, please, let's find Kara. Just in dog speak, essentially.
Well, there's earlier in the issue when they're talking, and Zinder's talking to Crypto. I love that so much, because he's like, yeah, I know, I miss her too, but like, I can't go back because then she'll know I'm a spy. And Crypto just keeps barking at him, and he's like, and he responds like they're actually having a conversation. Now he is, you know, a Kaluan, so maybe he can speak whatever Crypto's speaking. But if not, I still like how it was played.
Yeah, so we see the Circle's telling Gandello off, like, no, you have to like shut this down, like, you know, we're not actually behind this, Rogol Zara is. And then Gandello's like, no, you're fools, I'm going to put out the hit order. And she puts out an order for Supergirl's head, like she wants Supergirl dead. And we see all these Rogol Zara supporters in the last page sort of chanting Rogol Zara. They're coming for Supergirl.
Well, also is that Sardath is part of the Circle, and we know that's Adam Strange's father-in-law. So that's pretty big. And then some general on Thanagar, although with everything going on in Justice League, is Thanagar and Thanagar Prime different?
Yes.
Is that okay? So then this is okay.
I think so.
This is the Thanagar representative, which is interesting because Rand and Thanagar are constantly at war. So
I mean, people can correct me, but I think like Thanagar still exists. I think.
Yeah. So, oh wow. So I just brought up Reander, right?
Starfire's brother.
Yeah, and he's been around since New Teen Titans by Marv Wolfman and Perez.
Oh, there you go.
He's also used in the original Omega Man comic.
So he's not that random then?
No, he's not. So it makes sense why they're using him, because he would be with the Omega Men.
So so I go back to what I said. You were outthinking yourself a little bit.
Right. But no, apparently he was known as Darkfire too. So, yeah.
There you go. No, I really like this issue. Like, you know, we've been digging this Supergirl run, and I think this, you know, the first issue of this arc, which was like the first like sort of issue captive on the ship, was a little bit slower, but these last couple have been really good. The action's been fun. The supporting cast that we're building around her's been very likable, and like, I actually like, we're kind of almost in a love triangle right now, and I say kind of because it's not like that strong a thing, but
no.
Even that's making me chuckle a little bit, because it's all just kind of these awkward oh, this is kind of, you know, this might mean something, but it's awkward, I don't want to talk about it, kind of thing, and I'm having fun with it, so good.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like the horror elements that are played here, which is the clones and Supergirl having to take them out, and then, you know, Holcomb's hand being ripped off is
also her using that axe is I'm never mad at.
Of course,
that's always a cool moment. So
Supergirl's got a giant Thor axe. Why would you be upset about that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the art's just like the last issue, which is to say it's very, you know, bold, nice, strong lines. Coloring is very good. I really have nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah, the scenes with Zinder and Reander always look good too.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah.
It's a very colourful book, because you've got people who are orange, you've got people who are green, like, you got a bright blue and red uniform, like, you've got all these things.
It's kind of what I want out of a super book, you know? Like, it's her interacting with all these different aliens. And yeah, so, and even with the Omega Men, and you know, we're probably getting away from them now, because now it seems like we're back in the original intent of her coming out here.
Yeah.
You know? And we have what looks like Rogol Zara's home planet, which is on the outskirts of the galaxy.
Yep, and they all want to kill Supergirl now, because the hit's been put out. So, what are you giving Supergirl 28?
This is a 9. I really enjoyed this one.
I'm honestly finding it hard to argue. I'm also going to give it a 9. I'm loving Supergirl right now.